Julien, there you are. I've been needing to talk to you. How are you? How is Paris? How's your evening?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing great. I'm incredibly happy to hear that you've been meaning to chat with me. I'm just a bit concerned because usually when you want to talk to me it's because something is bugging you. And I don't recall, at least for 2022, I don't recall you telling me a true, positive, thrilling story. Even those that you say are good tend to be really...
That's true. They don't meet your muster for the definition of good, it turns out.
So what's
So,
going on with you?
well, I'm at a point where I'm having trouble looking in the mirror, and
Oh,
that's not really a good thing. I got a haircut a few days ago, and there is a style pretty common in the US where they cut the sides really short and they leave a bunch on top. And I got that kind of haircut, and I've gotten that kind of haircut my last two haircuts. And sometimes I'm able to not get it, but it's funny. I looked at pictures of a wedding we went to a few years ago, and I'm like, yep, there it is. It's a hairstyle I don't like. And it's a hairstyle for some reason I often get. And I think there's a customer service thread to this, but I think I have to start with a little bit of my personal barber 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 backstory. I grew up in the 70s, and when I was an adolescent, there was, in the Bay Area, which is San Francisco, and the whole hippie thing. So I wanted my hair as long as humanly possible when I was a youth.
could I have a picture of that? Because I have not seen that, but I really wish I had.
Remind me, I have some. Yeah,
All right.
I've got the high school graduation with the long hair and the leisure suit, so we can pull that one. So I remember vividly going to the barber, and he cut my hair. And afterwards he said, well, I don't know how it is in France, but after a haircut, they, what do you think? And, they can kind of tune and fine tune things. And I looked at it, and I hate going to the barber. I never wanted my haircut. And I looked at it and I said, well, it's kind of short. And he literally threw me out of the chair at that point, because it was just like, I was just saying speaking my truth, and it wasn't his fault. I didn't want to get my haircut, but I had to. And but he took it very personally, and fair enough. And so that kind of scarred me forever actually giving my opinions to a barber. And then I've gone through the years, and in the US I guess there's three flavors of barbers or hairstylists or whatever. There are hairstylists where you pay, $50, $100, a lot of money, and they wash your hair. It's a nice experience, and it's very chatty. And I don't want to chat. I just want to get in. I want to get it cut, and I want to get out. And so that's not an optimal experience for me. And then there's kind of the old school barber shop, which there just aren't that many of anymore. And then there's kind of the corporate places where you go and you take a number, and the next person available grabs you, and you go in and you get your haircut. And there's one chain, and they had a pretty good thing where, you'd tell them what you wanted, and they'd do it, and then it would be recorded. And the next time you didn't have to remember. You just say, I want it like last time, which works until you don't get it how you want it. And what happens to me is I go in and I say, okay, there's too much on top compared to what's on the side. Can we lighten this up a bit and get it so it's more uniform? And it's happened 2 times. This is how stupid I am. It's happened twice in a row, and I did the same thing both times. You'd think after the first one, I'd go, oh, wait, that didn't work. But when I say that, and they're like, oh, so you want me to use they do razor length. So you want to use a 4 here instead of a 5? And I'm like, okay, because they said that in response to what I said. And like an idiot, what I don't realize is that means they're cutting it shorter here. So by definition, I'm gonna get the little mushroom top. And I, I don't, this is certainly not a classic what does a contact center do sort of thing, but there's a customer service thing here of I am completely unable to communicate to the person cutting my hair what I want and getting them to understand it and getting what I want. And I really, I end up living with it for a couple of months because I don't want to go back. And I don't know. I mean, on some level, it's me, but I feel like I communicated pretty clearly what I wanted and didn't get it. So there's my tale of woe.
All right. There is so much to unpack. I feel we definitely need to have a second session on this one because we never touched that topic, which I don't know if it's a contact center piece, but it's definitely a customer experience piece entirely. And it totally deserves to talk about it. And I also feel to some extent that we have similar experiences for the most part. I do feel like you are taking too much blame for something that's ultimately not your job. I mean, you're paying experts to do it because they are the experts. So you should not feel bad for that. I'm going to address the first thing that I have to address immediately is if you ask people for feedback and you're not able to handle feedback, then just don't ask for feedback in the first place.
Yeah, fair enough.
I naturally don't really like conflict. So if you push me hard, you're gonna get me. But if you push me nicely, I'm gonna go your way. So that I don't like conflict. So I usually, unless you really screw me up, I'm always gonna say, yeah, great. Can I go now? I'm not gonna say it's too short or I don't like it. Especially it's too short because you can't really do anything about it at this point. They're not going to paste it back on your head. If it's too long, I may say something because there's still a chance to fix it. But if it's too short, well, too bad. I'm just not coming back. So that's the first thing. Seriously, this guy, you should never go there ever again. It's not because he screwed up, because that happens. And if you don't provide feedback, he's still going to screw it up. But if you can't accept feedback, then that should be the end of it. That is the most terrible customer experience ever. Again, I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but if you can't accept feedback, don't ask for it. That's rule number one. Now, that's just the first thing. There are so many things to unpack. I was saying I feel for you because back when I was in Hong Kong, we really had 3 levels of services. We had the top service, which I've never enjoyed because I just could not afford it, which is more of a hair designer than a stylist. Like, they could tell you what your face would match, and it's okay.
Right.
Hair is hair.
You could get that for your 40th birthday as a super special treat, maybe, and that would be it.
It's approaching.
Which you wouldn't appreciate, but you could.
No, I probably would not. My wife may though, so it could be a good idea. The second level of service is a normal one, which is incredibly higher than whatever we have in France, where you do have the shampoo and they would massage your head so that you relax. And that's like the super standard thing in Hong Kong, which I kind of enjoyed because you're not paying that much and you're getting the full thing, the real relaxing experience. And then comes the actual cut, which... Lucky for me, I used to go in Chinese places, didn't really speak the local language, so no one would chit-chat with me because I'm the same as you. I just don't talk to me. I'm here to cut my hair. I'm not here to tell about my life. That's not what I'm here for. And then I discovered in the last couple of years before leaving the place, the cheap version. The cheap version was amazing. It was $60 Hong Kong, which is €6 and probably something like $7-ish US dollars.
Right.
Okay. You don't have 50 styles. Is always with a razor. They never use scissors. It's am I using 4 or 5? Which one am I using? And then they end up using a vacuum on your head to get every piece of hair that's left. But very quick, no chit chat, no massage or shampoo of any sort, but super cheap. And you would just do it, in between 2 appointments. That's how quick and efficient that was.
Right.
So I'm guessing you have some level of service that's similar, but you don't get the one that you want, which is don't fuck it up, don't yell at me, definitely don't cost me a fortune, especially if I'm not happy with the result. Do accept feedback if you ask for it, and ultimately don't chit chat with me. You're not getting that. And what I'm wondering is, are you just going to the wrong place? Are you always going to the same place and doing the same wrong thing over and over again? Have you tried other locations? Is it on
So
you or not?
I'm trying other places. The last two were at the same place. And I got different people each time. The Before that, I went to a place 3 times. First time it was great. Second time was kind of the most irritating, where the person listened to me, smiled, nodded, went, got it, and then did what he wanted. And then the third time I went, the person just really never seemed to understand what I was asking for. And I got the same thing. So I've done 2 places. I had another place I liked that seemed to work out, but COVID, they ended up getting shut down. So I have been cutting around a little bit. I think I'm definitely going to find another place the next time I get a cut.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you're as beautiful as ever. So I would not worry too much if I were you. But I understand how that can be frustrating, especially, normally people would tell you, if you have the same issue with multiple people, the problem is probably not the others. It might actually be the way you explain what you want. But an easy thing to do, and I'm very happy to share that tip because I've been telling myself to do this for the past many years. I've never been able to do it. But probably the best thing to do is the next time you have the perfect haircut, to take a couple of pictures and make sure you show it to the next stylist.
And this is what I want. Yeah, and that's a good idea.
I've been telling myself this every time. And when I walk into the salon every time, I'm thinking, why did I not do it last time, instead of trying to re-explain again for the 100th time what it is that I'm trying to achieve. So that part is probably on you, because somehow your explanation is not that great. But that being said, that's kind of you don't ask so much from a hair salon, right? You ask that the service is pleasant. You're not asking for fireworks and music and coffee, and you're asking that the service is pleasant. It could go over, it could be fantastic, but at least it has to be basic and pleasant. And you're asking that whatever you need is actually what you're getting, that you leave with the head you were expecting to leave with. If they are missing on both of this, that's a bad experience altogether, I would say.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So what would be the tips here? Can we try to project ourselves for a second? You are in charge of customer experience for that salon, or any other for that matter, or that barber. What could they do better besides just firing this guy?
I think. There's just take the time to make. You said it. You're asking them what they want. Don't assume you understand it. Take an extra beat and make sure you really understand what's being asked. I think that's probably the key. Is, okay, so this is what you want, and that I think that's kind of the biggest key, is just getting the stylist to understand that they need to be very clear and comfortable that they've got it.
Especially that you've said something earlier. You've pronounced the word. You've said COVID, and you've said it killed one of your local businesses that you kind of enjoyed. And the thing is, it is so hard these days to keep your business open that customer loyalty is kind of important, because you don't cut your hair every other day, right? So your customers probably come every 1 to 3 months in average. So you better make sure that they come back, because they only come back 4 to 6 times a year. So you can't miss that opportunity. So what is customer loyalty based on? price is a piece, location is that convenient is a piece, but definitely customer satisfaction is a piece, and the whole experience does matter. So if you're not happy with your hairstyle, you're not coming back. That's business that is lost. So investing another 30 seconds, 1 minute to make sure that you do understand what they want, and then reinvesting that same amount of time afterwards, trying to understand why it was not necessarily what they wanted and what can you do about it. It's not necessarily even a discount. It could be, let's schedule your next appointment in 1 month's time. Once it's a little bit longer, I will fix it for you. I will make it 50%. You're paying the full price today, but I'm already scheduling the next appointment. There's so many things you could do on that front and that they're not doing.
Yeah. And I don't know what it would take to give me, once I had a haircut I don't like, this is where the it's too short experience comes in. I mean, yes, that was a ridiculous thing for me to say, but there's a emotional scar. So my propensity to speak up is minimal. So, it would have to, they'd really have to, I think it's most important up front. Afterwards, I mean, I think it could be so you're sure this is really what you want? You'd really have to push me, kind of to your point earlier. It's like, okay, you didn't do this out of spite. You did this out of whatever. I'm not going to confront you on it. I just want to get out of here, and it'll grow, and I'll find somebody else to fix it next time. I don't know how you would get me to actually say, no, it's not right. I mean, and that's kind of shame on me a little bit.
I may have a final question for you, if you don't mind. Again, you've said COVID, so for a long period of time, I actually don't know exactly how it was in the US, but in France we were in proper quarantine. Everyone's staying home all the time, and all businesses except for grocery stores actually locked, right?
Yes.
So that means for at least, can't remember, it felt like 6 to 8 months, might have been less than that. I had no other choice but to get my wife to cut my hair. Did you have that experience as well? And did you give her a good grade in the end?
I can't, the lockdown happened in March. I go a couple of months between haircuts, so I don't remember, probably February, and I got my next one in July. So it was several months. And my adolescent growing up near San Francisco inner child was very happy to be able to have big, long, shaggy hair for a while, but it started to look pretty absurd. And that was a haircut I really enjoyed when I finally got that one. That was a case where there were very few options. I actually went to a place up by the Ring Central office because that's where I could find one at that point.
Okay. All right. Well, then that might be something worth exploring there. And I think we definitely need to re-explore that topic. We have never talked about this before, and that's definitely a topic that has multiple other layers that we have not uncovered yet. But I'm hoping at the very least we've given people an idea of what they could do better if they are in the barber industry. And one last thing not to forget is I definitely want to get a hold of that picture. So let's make sure you don't forget it.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, well, I feel better. I feel like soon I'll need another haircut, and I will venture out bravely and make sure I get it right next time. Try somewhere new.
Perfect. Good luck with that. Thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you next week, Max.
Okay. Thanks, Julien. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.